Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their day. Now today I want to talk about a very, very interesting and very important topic for all of us here as stackers and collectors, because it comes down to what is stacking, what is genuine. And when you're stacking physical precious metals, it's always very, very important to make sure that what you're stacking is not just real silver, but in the case of vintage silver, that it's actual genuine vintage silver as well. Right? So in some cases, you got to worry about the purity. In other cases, you got to worry about whether it's a general artifact here, if you're dealing with artifacts or older pieces here that are having some additional collectability value over that melt value of silver. So both of these things are very important to note when you are purchasing something, and this all comes with experience as well as how well prepared you are when it comes down to purchasing your silver, either before purchasing that silver or even after purchasing that silver. Let's say when it comes down to testing that silver, or in the initial process of just purchasing it from a reputable seller, or reputable outlet that themselves are testing the silver as well, and are also ensuring that they are sourcing their silver in a responsible way, or in a way that is ensuring that what they have, the pieces that they have, are genuine. One place where I can tell you where you are not foolproof from falling into scams would be eBay. Now eBay, the reason I'm saying this, the reason I'm throwing them under the bus, is because I myself, when I was a very, very aggressive seller on the eBay platform, not so much anymore, I do not sell anymore on that platform, but back in the day when I was pretty aggressively selling on that platform, I was always keeping an eye out on that platform for other listings, making sure that those listings were selling genuine items, because I myself sometimes would be a buyer, sometimes I myself would be assessing other listings to see if I needed to be competitively price my items in accordance with those listings. Now, the thing about eBay is that there are very many listings. You may or may not be aware of this, but there are very many listings that are very shady. And the thing about the shady listings there is that they don't care. In a nutshell, eBay really does not care too much about these fake listings, because at the end of the day, my inkling is they don't care because they're getting the fees at the end of the day. So they do very little to kind of protect the buyers, in the sense that if a seller is listing something that is not genuine, let's say a fake silver bar, some silver bar that is not pure, but they're marketing it as a pure silver bar, or let's say they're misleading a customer into selling a low mintage bar, which is not actually genuinely a low mintage bar, and it's instead a copycat bar, right? Or even worse, a fake silver bar that is just a copycat bar. In these circumstances, the only way that this individual who is selling such a counterfeit item, the only way that they're going to really be held accountable is if the listing itself is reported multiple times, during its course of being active, or if the person who purchases that later then finds out that they purchased something that is bunk, and then they then start a return process, etc., and start that process of trying to get their money back via eBay's assistance. So these are really the only ways, and this is kind of a long, arduous process, and really doesn't, hold the seller very accountable when they do this shady stuff. So because of this, you'll find it's not that it's widespread, but you'll see it's pretty common, actually. I know other members in this community who are serious collectors. There are some common fakes out there, such as, let's say, the 1984 proof. That is a 50 mintage round in and of itself, and so that is a very commonly faked round, because it's very difficult to find. It sells at a crazy premium, thousands of dollars for a 1 ounce silver round, and so that is established on all Engelhard as a very commonly faked proof due to that rarity. And so people who are very into collecting these proof rounds, they're very well aware of what those fake proofs look like. And so me and other members of the community, when we see those pop up, and they do pop up more than just once, they pop up from time to time, it's very clear that it is not a genuine artifact. And so typically those types of listings, because that is such a rare item that is a lot of attention is drawn to, and especially an Engelhard item, many heads will be looking at that, and usually will be reported many times by people, and so those listings typically are taken down before they have a chance to finish, right? Either because the seller who didn't realize that it is not genuine decides to take it down, or because it is taken down, due to some being reported so many times. But in many cases, these counterfeit items are ultimately sold without being realized. Now, this happened to me one time, in fact, by a seller who is a pretty serious collector. I was buying out thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff from him, and so he kind of tipped me a couple 5-gram Engelhard bars as just a token of his appreciation for all my purchases, right? He himself knew that these were not actually genuine Engelhard bars. I myself knew this as well, because these are commonly known Engelhard faked 5-gram silver bars. These ones. Notice how the serial numbers are the same. That's a dead giveaway right here, especially because you can see them right in front of you, that these are not genuine 5-gram silver bars. But even if I was just looking at one of these, and that is what happened, because I was actually sent one of these, and then a few weeks later sent another one of these. And this individual who I was purchasing from, who had tipped me these, he did not tell me that these were not genuine Engelhards. But I already knew this, because I was already aware of this fake, right? It's already established, I believe, on Engelhard, and I've seen them on eBay before being sold as groups, all with the same serial number. So I was already aware of this, and I'm already aware of what a genuine 5-gram Engelhard 5-gram bar looks like, and that's right here. That's what you see right here. So immediately off the bat, when I saw this first one that he sent me, I already knew, hey, this is a fake one. I didn't have one of these in my possession at any point before that time, but when he sent me this first one, as soon as he gave it to me, I didn't even have to check my other bar. I knew. I was like, this is off. It's too high, it's too skinny, something's off about this bar. I didn't remember, is that same serial number? I didn't remember, is that the same serial number as what I saw on eBay before? But I knew something was off. So then I went and looked back at my bar, compared the two. Of course, it's off, right? So that's one dead giveaway right there. Then I went to go check, hey, let me check the purity of this bar. I was curious. I checked it. It's actually 5 grams of pure silver. It's just that it is just a copycat bar here. So the only time I've seen these being sold on eBay, the sellers who are selling them are representing them as copycat bars. And they'll sell them in lots of a few, and they'll sell for pretty cheap. Sometimes they'll sell for a lot. Right now, we looked on eBay, and the only reason I'm bringing up this bar is because it's very interesting. I see somebody selling one of these bars. Initially, it was not listed, I don't believe, as a copy bar, but then I checked a few hours later, and now it's being listed as a copy. Regardless, it's being listed at $55, which is kind of what sometimes some of these go for. Nowadays, these are going for double $55. Now they're going for over $100, but in the recent past, these were going for about $55 if they were genuine. $55 for a copycat bar is a little bit overpaying, because at the end of the day, this is just 5 grams of silver, and it's not a genuine Engelhard, and that's very well established here, as you can see, because these serial numbers are identical. So we take a look at that listing, and take a look. It's literally the same exact serial number, 04953. So because of that, it is not worth $55 plus shipping. So, initially I was thinking, oh, the seller perhaps, maybe picked this up and didn't realize it was a copycat bar, because they had it actually initially listed for $55, and I don't believe it was listed as a copy. But now I see that it is still listed at $55, and at least now it is being listed as a copy. So if I can show you this up close, it would be great. 04953. That's the exact same number that we see there in that listing. So this is something you got to be aware of when it comes down to the Engelhard 5-gram silver bars, because those typically are probably being faked, because it is an otherwise very, very rare bar. There's only one type of 5-gram Engelhard silver bar, at least for common ones in quotations, and that's a 15,000 minted bar. That bar that I showed you, the genuine one, that's 15,000 minted. And so I've sold a couple of those this month, the genuine ones, for almost $150, about $135, $145 is what they've been going for lately. And like I was telling you before, maybe just 6 months to a year ago, they might have been going for half that price, which is crazy. So a high fluctuation in price, both up and down. It's not that it always goes up. A lot of times the price might fluctuate down. Okay, so you got to be careful with these, especially very rare pieces. You need to do your due diligence when purchasing them. Make sure you're purchasing from a reputable seller. And when you look at this, hey, the seller's got 100% positive feedback, 400 items under their belt as far as reviews go. But at the end of the day, that's not a genuine Engelhard bar, so you got to be very, very careful. Even if the ratings are good, does not necessarily mean that it is going to be a genuine item that you're purchasing. This is another item that was brought to my attention here on the YouTube channel. TD Bank Engle Hard bars. These are very, very rare bars. Extremely rare bars, in fact. The problem is they're selling these as a lot for $121, and they've got multiple lots available. They've got 5 lots of 3 bars available. Holy cow. Does anybody know that these are 1,000 vintage bars? If I was able to purchase these bars 3 at a time at $121, my goodness, that's literally like $40 an ounce. It's a killer deal. The problem is that these are not genuine. These are not genuine. These are known fakes. These are not even real silver, if I'm not mistaken. Regardless, even if they're real silver, you're only paying for the silver here, because these bars are not even serialized. You can see here they're selling them in lots of 3. They got multiple lots available. Yes, you got 100% positive feedback, but you've only got 15 feedback there. So these are not genuine bars here. If you're buying them for $109 in bulk, yeah, it's a great deal if they were actually genuine bars. But at the end of the day, Engelhard TD Bank bars are some of the most rare Engelhard bars in existence. 1,000 vintage, very, very rare, and they need to be serialized. So these are definitely not genuine bars. I started digging deeper onto this channel, onto this store rather, and I started seeing, oh, they've got TD Bank bars here, just the generic ones as well, selling those, a sealed lot of 5 of these bars for $177. The problem is there, unfortunately, those are fake as well. That is not what the seals look like. If you look closely at those bars, you'll see they've got kind of like a perforated edge. I've never honestly, truthfully seen these bars in the original seal, so that in and of itself is a little bit of a red flag, because truthfully, it's very, very difficult to find these in the original seal. But this right here is the exact same bar that they're depicting there, and it's got a very, very weird seal in the sense that it's kind of like a perforated edge. And while I don't have an example of these in the original seal, I do have many other generic Canadian bank bars in the original seal, and that seal is very, very consistent with the way that it is looking. And there's no perforated edges. Never is there a perforated edge on these bank bars. These here are the small stamp, not the large stamps that are being offered up in that shady listing. But look, never is there a perforated edge around that original seal. So, perhaps in a better counterfeited lot in the future, we may see that there's no perforated edges. But again, everything needs to be questioned on that store that we're looking at there, because truthfully, we've got a lot of known fakes there as well, as far as other items that are listed. So when we look at these Sunshine Minting bars, those are a commonly fake bars. Northwest Territorial Mint bars are a commonly fake bar. So right here, it seems that they're probably sourcing these at a fraction of a price of the melt value of silver, especially if these are just clad bars. And a lot of these things that come from overseas indeed are clad bars. So the commonly faked 1984 proof, and this is something I was not gifted, but this is something that I actually mistakenly purchased when I was making a quick purchase of just regular 1984 non-proof rounds. I wasn't actually looking at the picture very quickly. I just made a quick purchase because the price was right for a normal Prospector. And when I got the 3 rounds, there was actually 3 rounds that I purchased. When the 3 rounds came in, I noticed immediately, wow, these are very proofy. And also noticed that they're very proofy in a bad way, in the sense that they're not proofs, but they're proofy. They've got a proofy finish, and which is not a good thing for a standard production round, because a standard production round, which is what I purchased, should not be very, very proofy like this. So immediately I noticed something was off. Immediately I noticed that I hadn't purchased proof rounds, I hadn't gotten genuine proofs, and that these were fakes, and these were very, very familiar to me because I've seen some of these on eBay before being sold as actual proofs. And so without needing to, I already knew these were fake, and I knew that those were probably not going to be real silver and that they'd be clad. So I put it on the Sigma, and boom, sure enough, they weren't ringing up as pure silver. So these, unlike these fake duplicated copycat Engelhard 5-gram bars, these ones right here are clad. No real silver in these. These are pure junk. These ones right here, at least they're silver, but hey, they're also pure junk. So this is something interesting to note, something important to know when it is you out there trying to put your hard-earned money out there to purchase your silver. You gotta, one, make sure you're purchasing from a reputable place that's testing their silver, buying from reputable places, knowing what to look for when it comes down to pieces that are not genuine, right? When you're trying to buy some historical piece of history, the worst thing that could happen that you find out later down the line, or even right immediately after purchasing it, is that, hey, this ain't real silver or gold, or hey, this isn't the real deal. That's no bueno, right? So always make sure that you ask questions, you do your research before you make a purchase. Always question something if you think it's too good to be true, because unless that person is super duper desperate to sell and times are super tough and you know this for a fact, you shouldn't be able to get things at drastically below market value. Unless you're enjoying my whatnot auctions, then it happens. I'll buck and chuck something and something does sell at $1. I mean, just this week I sold a freaking unicorn Hoffman and Hoffman round for $1. Nobody was paying attention besides one person. I started at $1 thinking I'd rile people up, and bam, that was a too good to be true situation. But hey, that type of stuff happens very, very infrequently, and if somebody is actually offering you something at their own will like that, you gotta question it. So keep this in mind, everybody. Hope you all learned something from this video, and stay safe, but stay stacking. Cheers. Oh, and if you haven't had a chance to yet, be sure to check out our social media landing page at solo.to/silverbarstacker. There you can find our direct website link, which is silverbarstacker.com, as well as our links to our other social media channels, such as this very YouTube channel, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our TikTok page, our Twitter page, and we also have the link to our Whatnot page, which is where we actually run our live auctions and actually also have all of these same SBS drops that we hold. We run those same drops on our Whatnot store, and we also have live auctions happening literally all the time. So the way that you can be notified about those auctions is to be following us there on whatnot.com/user/silverbarstacker. And we hope to see you there, folks. Thank you, and have a great day.